All right, welcome back. We're here for our second match of the week for the Lord of the Rings Week 1 feature matches. We got Steve T over here with his black-red deck, as we can see, against Miranda. What's going on over there?
Miranda's got two mountains and a plains, a Lost to Legend, which tucks a historic permanent. Card that's about to come down, this one drop with Menace.
Yep.
A Hobbit Sting, a Coral's End, and that 5 mana 4/3 that tempts you.
Looks like we got some red decks battling it out here. Yeah, both players are playing their last match for the week. Miranda's off to a nice 3-1 start. Steve's at 2-2. So looking to end the week on a positive note. Obviously, both of them are. And they've both had some recent success. Steve is good. He made one of the top 4 teams in the partner league, which will be drawing to its conclusion starting tomorrow. And Miranda made top 8 of the last full league, which was March of Machines. So they're both coming off of some recent success and looking to continue that here. Steve, unfortunately, does not have a good turn 3 play. He has Breaking of the Fellowship, which is a card that I guess you play if you don't have that much interaction, but it basically kills the opponent's second biggest creature most of the time. And he also has a Torment of Gollum to go along with 3 mountains, so does need to draw into something to do here.
Well, I have plenty of choices from the looks of it from the Torment. The draw for turn, last turn was the Rally at the Hornburg, and we got an Eastmark Cavalier, which has basically Death Touch the Orcs.
Yeah, it's the Rally at the Hornburg is interesting because I sort of noted that a lot of the comments in the set are like much worse versions of cards we've become accustomed to in the past, but Rally at the Hornburg is actually probably the best version we've ever seen of this 2 mana make 1/1s because they can attack immediately. Uh,
Yeah, the
and
one
and if you draw it late in the game and you have another human somehow, it might give something else haste. So pretty
The
pretty
one
cool
from
card.
Mom, which made two blue-red elementals, is great for using Convoke. They didn't have haste, but they kind of had haste as mana rocks
Yeah,
sometimes.
yeah, we've seen a few versions in Ikoria. One of them came in with haste, Forbidden Friendship. We've seen in Core Set before Raise the Alarm, which is an instant. So you can ambush stuff, or you can just cast on your opponent's end step and attack immediately. So just
Well,
yet another take on sort of a classic card that we've come to see many times. So decided to take the 5-drop there, the stalwarts. Figured, well, the 6-drop is still a ways away, and the 2-drop, the 2-drop creature and the removal not that important. Would rather just take away a good 5-drop there.
Red has drawn another rally, so you can attack out for 5 damage if you want to lose one of those 1/1s. That's just thinking about, I think. There's also the Eastmark Cavalier that can come down. We'll see.
So note the Eastmark Cavalier is a human, so Rally at the Hornburg can give that haste as well. So
That's interesting, yeah.
once in a while once in a while you have another human and you give it haste. Well, right on cue.
I like this attack, giving up a 1/1 for extra damage, or not even
Yeah,
a
Steve's
2/2.
getting real low. I mean, he could use Breaking of the Fellowship here to kill. Oh dear. Okay, well, you're about to see what he's
-1,
strong here.
-1 to all?
Well, close. Yeah, Fear Fire foes off the top here
Okay.
to single handedly turn this game around. I mean, he still doesn't have much going on. He has Breaking of the Fellowship and 2 lands, but he certainly saved himself from what was going to appear to be certain death here. And now here comes Claim the Precious, which is going to take care of that 6/4 whenever it ends up coming down here. So Steve has
That's
definitely
right on,
stabilized. Just takes that one card.
right on time because that would have meant a bunch more damage.
Yeah. So
Draw is Eagle of the North, the Plain Cycler, just like Oliphant, kinda. Is
I can't
1
imagine
mana.
he had much of a better much of a better card to draw from his deck, including rares in that spot. So still no action here for Steve aside from the removals in hand. Looks like this battle scarred goblin has been through the ringer and is still battling.
Maranda. Definitely hoping to get a land off the top to unlock 2 cards. Didn't want
Oh,
to mount.
there's another 6-drop in hand.
Yeah, it's an Eagles of the North, so it's the white version of the Oliphant.
Yeah. At what point do you cycle one of them? Probably never, honestly, unless you're about to
There,
die to a battle scarred goblin.
there was a decent chance of a land on the top, so I don't mind that play of not cycling.
So Goblin becomes the ring bearer, and of note, Steve does have two more ring tempting cards in hand. So getting this ring going could help him out here. All right, so here comes a 6-drop.
Lane's unlocking 2 cards.
It's going to start with the Oliphant here, the one that we know about. That one's going to get hit, and he's going to be able to start looting that with the ring. So pretty good here. Unfortunately, this Eagles is going to be uncontested, but the Goblin will kill faster.
There's an idea to play the Trampler second, so you get your Eagles removed. Although Eagle looks better, 6-4 Tramplers.
Well, I think you want to play the creature that your opponent knows about first, so and then surprise them with that. And we got a really nice draw here with the Troll of Khazad-dûm, which is the land cycler, the 6-drop, which has like basically super menace, which I don't think we've ever seen this on a common. That ability of like menace plus.
So all Mardu land cyclers played in the last couple turns, all 3 of them.
Yeah, these Landslakers have been really good, honestly, in this set. All of them are really strong. I think in Mom, there's just so much going on in the set that those Landcyclers didn't perform as good as they look like it might. They look maybe like they were going to be a little stronger. But just
For
the set
one,
was so powerful, and two mana is significantly more than one, especially like being able to cycle on turn one is very big.
yeah, you can keep one-landers for sure in this set.
All right, so Steve's looking to make his way towards the end of the game here. He has a Smite the Deathless for the Eagles. He has, I believe it's called Grishank. It's the legend that amasses and then steals a creature for the turn.
Mm-hmm. Only Hobbit Singing Mountain in hand, you can see the Hobbit sting.
So he's just going to play Gothmog here. And he's going to say, if you can find 4 damage out of nowhere, which there is a card that does that called Improvised Club. But, otherwise you're going to need basically exactly Improvised Club in order to win there.
Would not be surprised if that's in the deck list. Let me take a quick look. I don't see an Improvised Club, no.
Yeah, so we saw Steve falling behind to the 1/1s, but then with one fell swoop and one top deck of Fear of Fire foes, wiped them all out, and then the Battle-Scarred Goblin basically went the distance. He didn't really ever play any other creature that was able to attack, so Battle-Scarred indeed. He keeps fighting, though. Didn't look like he did any sideboarding. What is Maranda thinking about?
Miranda's not changing much. I see a whole bunch of low-cost humans. Besides the Stalwarts, which is the 5-mana 4/3, there's 2 copies of those. Besides that, there's 3 land cyclers. The rest is 3 CMC or less, mostly all humans.
Yeah, if you're trying to be like the Boros, the classic Boros beatdown deck, which is very much what Boros is doing in this set, as it does most sets, it's really hard to sideboard because you don't want to you don't want to make your curve higher. So it's like, what can you what are the things you could sideboard that are going to be beneficial? I guess it's other low drop cards, but week 1 you're probably playing most of your low drop cards. So
cyclers come in real handy in terms of not raising your curve and having a finishers at the end. It doesn't even cost you in terms of making your curve high. So
yeah, these cyclers again really really strong. They've all been performers. Even the blue one, which is not splashable nor a creature, it's exactly what the blue decks want, though.
Looks like a now for wrath, now for ruin exclamation point, which the entire board and tempts you has been put in.
Okay, yeah, I mean, it's insurance against fear of fire foes, but also could end the game. Like, if you draw that, I mean, obviously her deck is very adept at making 1/1s. I don't think she just drew the third of her deck that makes 1/1s. I'm sure the deck is pretty consistent at pumping out a bunch of tokens, so that's a card that can get you there. Not a tremendous hand for Steve, but very keepable here.
The 1-drop's coming down again. The Runnerim Lancer, and we have a Grishnak and a Fear Fire foes, along with the 3 lands. And
it's going to be a bit of a slow hand. Steve might end up using his Smite the Deathless here on the Took Reaper, just to not take damage and also to deny the ring tempts you. His other cards, he has Horn of the Mark, which is that artifact that you need to attack with 2 creatures to get value. And then he has Quarrel's End for next turn, and then on 4 he has Torment of Golem and Gothmog, the 3/3 that makes a 1/1 Death Touch army. So he's got some good 4s here. He just has to stay alive, and Smite the Deathless will help not take too much damage here. We'll see. He might take the damage, and then this is something I do frequently. I'll see if my opponent plays something better, and then if they play something better, kill that. If not, kill the Took Reaper. He says I can afford to take 2.
So yeah, just deciding whether to play out Grishnak, which can steal something for a turn, or pass turn, because Fog on the Barrow Downs is also a removal along with Fear Fire Foes.
I think you just play your creature, honestly. Like if it's me, I'm just playing it to the board. I mean, yeah, if there's Fear Fire Foes waiting, you get messed up, but that card's gonna mess you up anyway. I think putting 2 bodies into play here has to be the move.
This I think she may be fearing a Fear Fire Foes.
Yeah,
that would. Yeah.
I mean, normally in a league match, I say, 1 card out of 60, I'm not as scared, but it's 1 card out of 40 now, so way more likely to come across it.
I think I'd play it out, even though it's tough to do. Losing value, but putting on the pressure. Hovering. Grishnak, Brash Instigator. That's what it's called.
Yeah. Yeah, that card's very good. I mean, even if you're not stealing a creature, like, it's still just like a Dunland Crebain, I guess, that doesn't have flying. So, you still run it out. It's 3 power, 3 toughness over 2 bodies. I think that's the right decision. There's not even a guarantee he's playing a creature to steal with it next turn, so just put on the pressure here. That's what that deck needs to do. So he decided to not Smite the Deathless on anything. Huh.
Wasting of 2 mana, alright.
I mean, yes, none of them are premium targets, but you're also at 16 here, and you only have a 1/1 to defend yourself. You're taking 4 or 6 this turn, depending.
Another land is not what Miranda wanted to see, basically anything but that.
Alright, so gets the most obvious block here. But yeah, he doesn't have his Fear Fire Foes here, but Maranda he's playing as if he has it. If he's trying to make Maranda believe that he has it, he's doing a pretty good job here. But he's going to play Gothmog here, so unless Maranda has something, this should be helping to stabilize the board.
Ooh, Ministrin, the legendary land, which allows you to draw if you attack with 2 more creatures. That's going to be handy. Because the Fear Fire Foes does clear board.
Okay, so the Fear Fire Foes is going to... I mean, it's going to 1-for-1, but it's going to allow for 4 damage to come in.
There's also the Fog on the Barrow Downs, just to take out the one thing, but it looks like she's casting the sweeper, pseudo sweeper.
Yeah, I mean, this is sort of like the base use of it. It's a 1-for-1, even though it's killing 2 creatures, but it's answering 1 card, which is, you're still happy to do it when you're chunking your opponent for a third of their remaining life total. So here's a Grishnak of his own.
Mm-hmm.
But he has nothing to do with that token. It's just going to go back to Maranda at the end of turn. I think he's like kind of wishing that he... I mean, I'm wishing for him that I played the Smite the Deathless sooner. So the Fog's going to go away.
Miranda will be drawing 2 cards if she activates this land, so looking likely.
I will say it's like disconcerting for my brain that there's a card Fog, and like it's a type of card, like we know what Fog does and all the variants, and now there's a pacifism, but it's called Fog. It's messing with my head.
Tolkien could not have called that. Didn't he know that?
Because we call pacifism effects pacifisms, and we call fog effects fogs, but now they're crossing
Tolkien didn't play Magic.
Right, so in comes this 2/2 token. I guess he can use it to draw a card here, I guess.
Neat. Okay.
Okay, I mean, for lack of better things to do, he is going to get attacked for a bunch back here.
Holy fun. Off the top.
This is very close to being potentially lethal. And he still had this Smite the Deathless in hand that he could have played on turn 2 to prevent some damage. And it's still hanging out there. He does have a Claim the Precious, so if there is a big 6-drop coming down, like you were mentioning, that is going to be
Hmm.
answered.
The only two options are draw or Oliphant. Draw could let you draw a bunch of stuff, but I think this is probably the right thing to
I
do.
think you play a 6-4 trample when your opponent's at 2, or really
Oh yeah,
almost at any life total. All
oh
right,
yeah.
so he is going to be able to survive here. He's going to claim the Precious on the Elephant, and then he has that Spear Master that he drew that's open face there.
Menacer on the board. You're at 2.
Okay, so he said, I'm going to play around a removal here, and I'm going to keep my Smite the Deathless here to get
Well,
rid of something. He said, I don't want to get killed by removal. If I play one
there's a
creature, I could die to removal. Oh,
there's
Theoden.
yeah,
Yeah, that is a reason to play Boros for sure.
double strike to any of these creatures since it entered the battlefield.
Like this is one of those uncommon legends that plays like a rare. Like when it's in play, it's behaving like a rare would. Give double strike to the unblockable creature. Makes sense. So yeah, Steve he absolutely has to kill that now, but that's going to leave this Theoden to potentially do some damage here if Miranda can start going wide again, potentially.
Giving double strike to the army would have meant they. Oh, I think the right play might have been giving it to the army because you can activate your land for a draw if you attack with both.
Yeah, and I think Miranda was. I mean, the Lancer getting exiled means no ring tempting either, and she could definitely use the looting here to try and get through the last couple
Oh,
points.
oh, I suppose there wouldn't have been attack with 2 creatures anyway
All right.
because
Well, right off the top, we have another Claim the Precious, so that is good news for Steve here. He can get this Theoden off the board, out of his life.
Miranda ever so close.
I mean, he's deciding if he wants to claim it or not. I think he probably needs. Like that card's really threatening. He's at 2, and he can give stuff double strike.
And
I
it lets you
believe
loot
I
everything.
believe Theoden can grant any creature double strike, right? It doesn't
Yeah,
just have to be a human. Okay.
yeah, human ETB. It's
Okay.
quite a few cards that do human ETB stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, this is an interesting card, I guess. Erebor Flamesmith can ping for 1 if you ever cast an
Okay.
enchantment.
Well, that
That's
means
a
Steve is
different effect.
potentially just dead to any number of things. So that's a scare for sure.
You can't really attack. Enabling attacks lets Maranda draw an extra card, even. A double attack, I mean.
I mean, he's attacking her, basically saying if I don't find something on the loot, I die.
Mm-hmm.
He's just dead on board if he doesn't loot something. He's drawn a Dunland Cribane, which you know gives a couple more counters to the army and adds a 1/1. So kind of I guess he figures, look, if I sit back and do nothing, I just die to 2 spells. So I might as well
Oh,
just go digging here and try and find something.
well, there's 1 damage here. Sorcery that buffs the team and tempts you. Now for Wrath, now for Ruin.
Okay. I mean, you cast it.
Only other option is swinging out, equaling an ability to draw 1 more, but then you lose
I mean, you
your
cast
Erebor.
it, you loot.
Yeah, oh yeah, you loot. You can loot because
He
you're at level 2 now.
has to chump block here, and then any spell just spells the end.
There's a rally at Hornburg. Funny enough, post combat would be lethal. There's 2 of those in the deck we saw.
Rally at the Hornburg combos with a lot of cards, honestly. Like it
Super
combos
drive.
with Theoden, it combos with the other human that gives +1/+0 to all your creatures whenever a human comes in. Erkenbrand, I believe it's called, an uncommon. So,
Well, this is scary. You can't block with 33.
I mean, Steve keeps drawing these amass cards, but this is not really the time and place for them because he already just has a gigantic army that can't do much of anything with.
I should say you can't effectively block the 3/3. So we see both creatures coming in here. Horn trigger.
So he's gonna hope to draw 2 things to do, and he has not. He's drawn the troll. He has a Swarming of Moria in hand, which is uh, another amass card. Miranda's just wondering what happens if I take this. Could I possibly die? There's ways to add 3 damage. There's Improvised
Yeah,
Club, which we
Gimli
mentioned, Gimli's
and
Fury,
Gim. Yeah.
but looks like Miranda's gonna come away with this one as long as she declares
So
all
close.
of her attacks.
So close.
Yeah, he's just gonna move on to the next game. Yeah, like when you're up against it, like when that flamesmith came down, it sort of became, um, I have to now find stuff, even if it means risking losing the game. Looks like he wants more fear fire foe effects. So two black breath appear to be coming in, which is the common that gives all your opponent's creatures -1/-1, and then you get the ring.
Yeah, it's 4-man Spirit Fire foes, I guess.
Yeah, I think after one game, maybe you don't side it, but maybe after two games when you've seen like just like the ability to go as wide. The card I'm looking at that does not look good at all here is Breaking of the Fellowship as a card to side out potentially.
Which one is that?
That's the 2-mana red spell where you basically one of your opponent's creature
Like,
deals damage to the other.
yeah, that's something I've been thinking about for my league deck too. I've cut both copies. With all
Yeah.
the ones running around, it seems not
So
that
there's
good.
there's been a couple cards like this in the past. He ended up cutting the Swarming of Moria, which is the Make a Treasure and a Mass card. Um, there's been
Yeah,
a couple cards like that. In Rivals of Ixalan, there was a card Mutiny, which had the same text for one red mana, and it was okay to bad. And more recently, in Streets of New Capenna, we had a card called Incriminate, which was a black card, but it basically you choose two creatures the opponents control and they sack one. So it's kind of that. And no one ever cast Incriminate. I never put it in a deck. I never even came
there's
close to putting it in a deck. So
in the meta where it's just 1/1s and 1/1s, see it being much worse. Like the best decks are running 1/1s or small
yeah.
creatures.
So I will say tacking the ring temps onto it makes it just that very tempting.
Yeah,
I'd still say I played it in a draft deck because I was low removal and it was not a good. It was not a high performer. I would prefer to probably not run it in most decks. But week one you make do with what you got. You don't have infinite removal. It represents killing a creature and getting the ring tempt. It's good enough.
yeah.
So Steve has a nice hand here.
Um,
He has another Cribbane to follow up this one. So they flock
Theoden's about to
together,
come
as it were.
down. Theoden's about to come down. The other choice was an East Farthing Farmer, which doesn't seem too appealing on this board. There's a Smite in hand, as well as an Eagles of the North and 2 lands.
Yeah. Once again, Theoden's going to meet the same fate as last game. He's going to be claimed. And in comes the ring, and Steve's sort of ticking along here after a mulligan. What's Miranda got there?
Oh, I just mentioned the Farmer and a Smite the Deathless and an Eagles with 2 lands because another land was drawn this turn. Now, there was no more humans, so it was actually no double strike coming in as far as we could see, but of course,
Okay.
the rally top deck might have been real hurting.
Yeah, this farmer looks like very pedestrian, but whenever it hits the battlefield, I'm always like, oh, that kind of did good things. Like it's a good body, honestly, and the effect is pretty strong.
You just punched the Reaper.
Yeah, see, like I mean, he wants the loot. That's the point. Like the Reaper's not a threat. You're almost never going to be taking out like an actual real threat with the Breaking of the Fellowship. You know, he gets a creature off the board here. He's drawn Fear Fire foes, which can do some work. Look at this. Your opponent's looting away a Smite the Deathless. That's probably mildly terrifying if you're on the
I
other
was
side
just
of that.
about to mention Miranda Smite the Deathless doesn't kill this Orc army anymore. Not the greatest.
How many cards in in my opponent's deck are better than a Smite the Deathless? It's a pretty short list, probably. And she's probably figuring out that Fear of Fire foes might be one of them, since we do have open pools here. I
The
know
Eagles of the North.
Miranda is a studious player, somebody that does definitely keeps herself aware of what her opponent might have.
What's the card in Steve's hand?
Fear of Fire foes.
Oh, you just mentioned that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
So
card that's been cast by both players in both games, and we've seen it basically win a game, or at least it prevented Steve from losing on the spot, and he drew what he needed to win that first game.
it's the exact card that Miranda wants in this exact situation, as it turns out.
So Steve's trying to claim the
Ah,
precious here. Doesn't need to use it. He has a nice attack here.
Miranda's plan is it looks like just keeping up mana for food, but actually the Smite the Deathless can finish off this 4/4 if she wants to go for the trade
Could
2 for 1.
also could also smite the Deathless on the Ring Bearer to deny the value here.
True.
It's a safer move. It opens you up to less blowouts. But if she wants to do it, she would have to do it basically right now. Yeah, to prevent the looting. So she says, I'm more concerned about the looting than I am about a 4/4 body that I could put creatures in front of.
She does. Steve's hand has 2 nice removal cards.
Yeah, Steve doesn't necessarily need the loot here. Like, if there's a land on top, he gets dumped in the graveyard, but any spell on top of his deck is probably something he's okay with drawing at this point. Yeah.
Well, Eagles of the North 6 drop. I'm very likely to get just removed next turn.
Yeah, if there's a 6 drop coming down, it's not going to be in play for long.
You won't believe the top deck.
Is it Fear of Fire Foes?
It is.
I believe it.
So just a choice of clearing board or dropping the Eagle. That's the choice Miranda has.
Oh, I think you just kill both here.
I think so.
I don't think you can afford to play Eagles to spend 6 mana to get it killed for like 2 or 3 mana. That's the only thing about Eagles is it dies to like every removal or close to it. You're paying 6 mana and you could have your card exiled for 2 mana. Not the best. Now Steve's he needs to draw out of this now. Does Maranda have more threats in hand?
The Eagles and the Plains.
Okay, so still the Eagles. So the Eagles is gonna get hit by a removal here.
The other thing to note is Legendary Land. Could make a difference at some point.
Alright, so Mordor Muster, not bad here. At least lets him cycle a card. Claim the Precious will allow his this is good. He now gets a Ring Bearer, which is important. Because he has 2 mountains that he played 1 mountain because
a rally would be huge off the top from Miranda here. Oh, she's getting flooded. At least 2 of these games have been. Rally would have meant keeping the train going with this Legendary Land. But just wanted to.
This looting from the ring just has helped decide so many games. Just especially like giving colors that don't usually have access to looting and filtering. Just having that is just so key.
Been a huge part of it, yeah. And your 1/1s, I've been noticing a lot of attack steps result in 1 damage in this set because you're just getting in with your small ring bear.
Yeah, if your opponent has food, you can't really sustain that. But the removal in this set it's not incredible, but it's good enough that you can use it and just peck in for a couple points every turn. And then eventually, if you get the 4th level of the ring, you speed up the clock substantially. He says, I'm sick of taking damage. I'm at 5. I'm just going to kill this.
Oh, Miranda,
2, 3.
Quite salty. She just opened up her chat and wrote 6 lands left in 24 and proceeded to top deck another land.
So now I could see him getting pretty aggressive here with his ring temps because he has Black Breath and Ranger's Firebrand, both of which tempt and could get her dead very, very fast.
Again, look. Guess what the top deck was? I think there's 4 lands left in the deck. That's what you wrote.
All right, so now this is gonna put it down to 1. All right, so that's a quick turnaround there. And anything that she plays is going to get killed by Foray of Orcs. So
game unfortunately over. Miranda got very.
So we see again. Unfortunately, the flood here got the best of Maranda. Steve was able to discard the excess lands and fight his way to a victory. First victory in the feature match. He was 0-5 lifetime. So congratulations to Steve getting a win on the board here. And we'll see everybody for our next match later tonight.